Today I'm chatting about vaginal discharge. It may not be a great conversation if you have other people in the car or who are in hearing distance. Consider yourself warned as I discuss various common causes of vaginal discharge. You're listening to Menopause Natural Solutions. This is episode 192. Welcome to Menopause Natural Solutions, your podcast for all things perimenopause, menopause and beyond. Stay tuned as your host, naturopath Jennifer Harrington, explains how to use natural therapies to find your ultimate health and happiness during your transition. Vaginal discharge can be many things. It can be completely normal or an indication of an infection or inflammation. The two most common infections are bacterial vaginosis, I'm going to call it BV from now on, and Candida. It is thought that 40 to 45% of women presenting with vaginal discharge have BV, and about 20 to 25% have Candida. I find these numbers really interesting, as most women think they have Candida. And many are guilty of using over-the-counter Candida remedies and not seeing the results, as they aren't treating the right thing. The remaining 30 to 40% of women presenting with vaginal discharge have a variety of other infections, such as trichomoniasis, chlamydia, gonorrhea, etc. Today I'm going to focus on BV and Candida, as they are by far the most common causes of vaginal discharge. So let's start by considering a healthy vagina. Ideally, you would like low vaginal microbial variability. You want a lactobacillus dominant microbiome. Lactobacilli can convert glycogen into lactic acid, creating an acidic or a low pH environment that acts as a first line of defense, inhibiting the overgrowth of many nasty bugs. The ideal range is in between 3.6 and 4.5. Healthy vaginal fluid is clear to white. It is odorless and has a high viscosity. The quantity and structure of this fluid changes over the month if you're still cycling to match the higher fluid demands of ovulation. Around this time, your fluid can resemble that of egg whites, with a wetter, whiter, stretchier mucus than at other times of the month. On the other hand, a dysbiotic, unhealthy vaginal microbiome has a pH of higher than 4.5. Can create a coloured discharge, cause vulvar irritation and itch, create an unpleasant odour, and may be linked to urinary tract infections and pain with intercourse. The physical discomfort can be matched with emotional discomfort and embarrassment. Some of the factors that move a vagina towards an unhealthy state include hormonal status. With perimenopause and its associated hormonal swings, you may experience a relative estrogen dominance. This increases your likelihood of issues with Candida, as Candida thrives in an estrogen-rich environment. On the other hand, menopause and its associated low estrogen state changes your vaginal pH away from an acidic environment and towards an alkaline environment, reducing your risk of Candida, but increasing the likelihood of BV. If you are still menstruating, you may notice that menstruation also changes your risk profile. Menstruation itself increases your pH level, and it also provides an iron-rich environment, which many problematic microbes love, especially Gardnerella vaginalis, the main bacteria implemented in BV. Sexual activity can influence your pH, with male ejaculate and saliva lowering it. In regards to lubricants, you really need to find a pH-friendly version. There are a few on the market these days, But Yes lubricant is a good one that is generally easy to find. Some women are worried about their smell and self-prescribe douches. There are very few scenarios which douching actually helps. Please stop this unless you have spoken to a healthcare provider about your individual circumstance. If you are a smoker, I'm going to give you yet another reason to quit. Smoking has anti-estrogenic effects that have been linked to an increased risk of BV. On to BV specifics. Not only is BV common, but many women also get stuck in a vicious cycle of recurrent infections. Whenever reoccurring infections happen, think biofilms. I think of a biofilm as a dome that protects the infection. It is thought that biofilms can create a 10 to 1,000-fold increase in protection against antibiotics. Gardnerella creates the scaffolding and the structure of the biofilm, and then it likes to invite its friends to hide out together, creating a polymicrobial biofilm, increasing its strength and resistance. As Gardnerella increases your pH, it opens the door to other pathogenic bugs, but its besties include Prevotella and Schneithiae. The vaginal discharge associated with BV is fishy in odour and whitish grey in colour. It is common in all women, but menopausal women and menstruating women at the time of their menses are most at risk. On to Candida specifics. Candida isn't always a problem. It can be a commensal microbe, but it does have pathogenic potential. Candida thrives under certain circumstances. It loves an estrogen-rich environment. It loves a high glucose environment. It misbehaves after antibiotic use and in times of immunodeficiency. Pathogenic Candida also loves to build itself a very sturdy, highly structured biofilm house. The vaginal discharge associated with Candida can resemble cottage cheese and produce a most intense itch. The most common type of Candida is Candida albicans, the form that is most likely to reoccur and produce the sturdiest biofilm is Candida glabrata. When glabrata is present, a new approach is needed, as the standard approach won't tickle, yet alone penetrate its biofilm. How do you know what form of Candida is present? You test. Ask your local doctor or sexual health clinic to take a swab. Creating a healthy vulvovaginal area starts with the environment, specifically its pH level and the health of the microbiome. Did you realize you can test your own pH levels at home? Find some litmus paper. Remember this from high school science? It changes colour and measures pH. You need to find a paper that measures at least in 0.5 increments. Break off a piece of paper and insert it about half a finger into your vagina. Wipe it on the internal surface and remove it and match the colour to the box. A result greater than 4.5 indicates an alkaline environment that is at greater risk of BV and other pathogenic infections, as you have lost the acidic first line of defense. Treatment aim number 1 is to assess and attempt to restore an ideal pH level. When it comes to testing your vaginal microbiome, you have options. If you are experiencing an active issue, you can get this fluid swabbed and identified by a medical professional. Although it's not thorough, but it's worth looking at ruling in or out some of the common causative factors. If you're after a more intense look at your microbiome, there are several companies offering self-swab kits. These are out-of-pocket expenses done in the comfort of your own home and provide a much more detailed look at your microbiome. Depending on your results, treatment aim number 2 is to help restore a Lactobacilli dominant microbiome. Next is to assess if you need to take a wrecking ball to the biofilm communities in your microbiome. If you are having recurring issues, you will have to do this to break the cycle. Other factors to consider include hormonal status, cleaning up your diet and improving your blood sugar regulation, lifestyle factors and personal hygiene factors such as using a pH-friendly lubricant and avoiding self-douching. Your general immune health may need topping up, and your nervous system may require some TLC to reduce the stress response. If you need a hand achieving these results, please reach out. I offer a complimentary discovery call so we can chat about what is happening for you and see if we're a good fit to work together. That's it from me this week. Until next time, bye for now. Thank you for listening to Menopause Natural Solutions. This podcast contains general information about menopause. It is provided as a guide, and it is not intended to replace medical advice. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend.